Alright, y'all already know who I am, so I'm not gonna go through the usual repertoire of fancy intros. But look, this is the 33rd video, and I'm on a short time limit right now, because I gotta kick off this class over here in a minute. So, I just want to respond real quick on some things that I've seen. Somebody sent me a message. I apologize, I can't review who you are right now, but somebody put up on one of my YouTube videos about, it was a very sincere message. Simply, I'm paraphrasing now, but it was basically about why don't I charge for money, because there are people, this person was saying that basically those are the easiest people to reach, people who are willing to pay for information, to learn about things. And I went over in a video way back about how I don't really agree on charging money for certain so-called spiritual practices and things like that. I know people do it, and to each his own, more power to them. If they can do that and wing it, then that's good. But the information that I'm putting out, we've already been through that already. That's why it's one reason why the world is in the state it is. A lot of people are trying to get paid, trying to get that paper for something that is natural. I mean, and this is just my beliefs only. I'm not pushing this on anybody. Like I said, I respect everyone else's opinion to do what they want. If they feel they have something, some information that needs to be taught for a price, and hey, that's them. But where I'm coming from, I'm trying to get everybody on the same wavelength. I want everybody to be equals. And, I often laugh about this, man, because you think about Jesus, right? Now, y'all know I'm not religious, so don't be like, oh boy, here he goes. I'm not religious on that level, but yeah, if you want to take up this figure of Jesus, if people do want to believe in that, can you imagine Jesus saying, I have this message for the people and I have to teach it for a price? I mean, a lot of things that go on in Christianity, I'm quite sure Jesus would, if Jesus was to return today, I'm sure the first thing that would have to go would be the Vatican. He'd probably, that'd be stop one, destroy the Vatican and bring that down, because I don't see how all that elaborateness has anything to do with Christianity. I mean, at least not the Jesus that I'm thinking about. So, yeah, I couldn't imagine any of the great prophets traveling around, Buddha, Jesus, whoever, whatever these names people want to use and give these entities, and them traveling around with a troop and an entourage charging fees, man. I mean, it's like, damn, what's going on here? I don't think his message would have been taken to heart or as serious if he was walking around telling everyone they had to pay a certain, membership fee to be initiated into the mysteries or whatever. So yeah, as far as I'm going, yeah, I'm not really into trying to sell anything to anybody, because this is all stuff that we should be knowing anyway. We all should know this information. And once I kicked off with making these videos, my inner self speaks to me all the time, as y'all know. And my inner self basically told me that if you want to do this, as far as putting my message out, if you want to keep it as pure and undistorted as possible, the only way to do that is to avoid the money game completely. This is what it told me. I'm going by information from a higher power, which is basically me, as I said, in another level of reality. But I had to agree with that, because basically once you start, I mean, I could understand like minimal fees, and I said this in my past videos. Like if I started actually producing, like if I was holding classes or something in my home, and people are coming over, and I had to print out documents and things that we're going to discuss and of that nature, I could understand a minimal fee. I don't know, $1 or something like that, just to cover the cost of printing out all these papers and stuff. But and even that, I'm like, oh man, but that's keeping it real. I mean, it does cost money to make paper, to produce things, and literature if you want to put things out there. But that's as far as I would go, man. I mean, when you see people, that's how people get trapped, because it goes from a minimal fee, and then you start getting people, and then you start saying, damn, when you're on this path, and you're coming from the level of reality that I'm coming from, it is very easy to end up becoming this kind of messiah complex where you think that you're on a mission to save the world at any cost, literally, even if there's a price attached to it. And it does feel good when you get compliments from people. I'm not going to lie. I do feel good. And that's not being egotistical, but it does feel good to know that my personal experiences that I put out there, people actually like listening to them. And not only just listen to them, it actually helps them on their journey to get to where they need to get to, on their path, on their journey. And yeah, like I said, it does feel good for people to give me feedback. I like feedback. I'm not going to lie. That's not being egotistical. That's just me enjoying the fact that other people enjoy what I'm talking about and that they have similar experiences. So yeah, but you have to be careful not to end up, like I was saying previously, you end up going from that, and you start getting a big head, start getting real fat and relaxed with money. And the next thing you know, you're like, all right, I gotta make a DVD. Then you make a DVD. All right, well, the DVD costs money to print, so that's gonna be, $20 for that. I had to get some SETH Dark Art t-shirts, socks, underwear. Y'all know what I'm talking about, man. But yeah, next thing you know, you got membership rings, and I get the official SETH Dark Art skull rings, and all this other bullshit, man. And it's easy to fall into the trap, to get caught out there. Next thing you know, I'm doing these cruise ships. It's like, all right, come to the SETH Dark Arts tour guide, cruise across the Mediterranean. I'm not laughing at people who do that, but maybe I am. But I don't know. But it's just like, yo, man, you laugh because it's like, yo, what does all of this have to do with the original message? And I think that's what happened to a lot of people out here, man. A lot of cats, they originally had some power. Excuse me, I'm keeping track of time. Yeah, they originally had some power. They originally had some natural talents, some real beautiful stuff, real mysteries of the galaxies, man, pulled together, and they're tapping into it, which is the mysteries that we all know that's within ourselves. And they start getting like groupies and shit, man. Like, I'm not calling none of my people groupies, people who support, my videos and like listen to them. But you know what I'm talking about. They get a kind of cult following, and like I said, man, it's easy to get pulled into the game. Next thing you know, you're like, damn, man, I got I got all these people following me, man. And I got all these people willing to do things that I say. They're taking what I say to heart. And next thing you know, you got women offering certain goods up to you. Goods that might be of a sexual nature. You know what I'm talking about. Or men. I'm not judging anybody. But yeah. And you get pulled right into that. And next thing you know, you got a little cult following. And I ain't gotta get, you know where I'm going with this, man. But yeah, so the information that I'm bringing to all of you, excuse me, is simply information that we all know. And I appreciate the person who did send me that message about, trying to get paid for what I'm doing, and people are willing to, and I know, and that's the funny thing too, because it's like, you put information out here. I see a lot of people's YouTube accounts out here, and they're making videos, and more power to them, but I'm sorry, gotta say it, a lot of bullshit going on, man. People talking about a lot of nonsense, man, scaring people, talking about demons and fucking all this craziness, and that's not what I'm selling. I'm not selling none of that, man. I'm not trying to sell none of that fear, these fear tactics. So to keep myself on point and keep myself in the game and on the level of energy that I'm rolling with, this is not the level of trying to make a profit, because for me, it's like, if I'm trying to make profit up off of this, then that's like, I'm no different from everybody else. I said in the last video towards the end that you can't compete with free. It is a shame that people need to have a price on something to give it value. If you do things just because you want to do them and you put it out there for free, it's unbelievable, I know, but people seem to not value that. They put no value on that. But if they pay $59.95 for it, then they can feel they actually have something, when actually they don't have shit. So, yeah. Alright, so that's basically what I want to say about that. Let me see, I want to give y'all some goods, though. I don't want to just come on here on a rant and shit, complaining about things. Yeah, about your training. been having some real deep experiences recently. Like I said before, I've been training in these other realms, training in the dream state, just all around training. And the other night, I had an experience where I was basically I was training on how to control time, and the fact that don't see time as, I wrote all this down, and this is like at 4:30 in the morning. I woke up at 4:30 a.m. with this powerful experience, sent it to my man who we exchanged these things with at 4:30. He wrote this long fucking book and a message, text message to him. So I'm going to paraphrase now, but basically it was about time, and they were teaching me how to control time and the responsibility that goes along with controlling time. And time is not really what we see it as, man. Time is like the past. Don't see the past as something as an act that has already happened, or the future as something that's going to come at some future later date. These things are all happening right now, and these are actually, you have to see time as places that you can go to and you can maneuver to. When you're not focusing in this physical reality, you have the ability to transcend time and space. Excuse me. And when you transcend time and space, you are going to, like, say for example, if I want to say, all right, I want to go back and visit myself in 1985, something like that, right? So 1985 is not me traveling in the past backwards, because we got to stop this kind of, linear thinking of time, forward and backwards, all happening now. So if you want to go back to 1985 is not traveling back in time, it's going to a place that reality is 1985. That's their experience. So whatever was taking place in 1985, that's just a level of reality that they are experiencing at that moment. And we can't get to these places. And the same goes for the future. If I want to go to 2025, that is a reality that is happening right now. And yeah, it's not something that's coming to happen, that's, going to be coming soon. It's a reality that's already taken place. So see time as places that you can get to, not as things that you have to really focus on traveling backwards or forwards to get to. Now, enough of this bullshit, man. It's time to get some work done. Let's get some exercise. Let's get some technique. Well, I don't like the word techniques, man, because techniques is like, we don't need techniques, but we're in this reality. We gotta use these silly ass words, so I'm gonna use that word technique for now. But look, that's what you gotta do, man. Check this out. When you lay on your bed at night and you are getting ready to go to bed, because there's no sleep, right? When you're getting ready to go to bed, this is what you gotta do. I want you to focus on feeling yourself in the moment on your bed, but I want you to visualize and project yourself, either just say, like, you could do anything, 10 years into the future or 10 years into the past. And as you're drifting off into this other realm, I want you to focus on, what do you hear? What do you listen? And I don't mean listen with your ears. You need to really listen with your inner senses and see, what are you picking up? Because when you do this type of practices, this is how you expand your consciousness, and you expand your receiver to pick up other frequencies of information. And as you do this, while you're drifting off into these other realms, you'll be surprised where they take you, man. You may well end up in a supposedly future time, which is another time that's going to be happening, or in a past time. And look for clues as to what's going on. Don't use these excursions as just, okay, I'm here, now I'll just stand around and do nothing. I mean, you can't do that, but if you were to project into a past that seems like your past, no matter how weird it may be, if it feels like your 1985 or whatever time zone, use that. If you run into yourself in the past, give yourself information. Don't waste that. Don't just be, I know it's really easy to get caught up in all the excitement. It's like, oh my God, this shit is real. Seth Darkar is not a fucking psychopath. And you start realizing that these things, these are your gifts. These are things that you're creating. And use these opportunities. If you run into a past self, give your past self some useful information. If you come across some information that you know, sometimes you say, damn, I wish I would have knew this when I was, 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. Give yourself that information. Set that so-called past self onto the right path. You are the future self that is giving that past self the information. The same way my inner self is giving me my information, I play the same role. To another version of me that would seem to be a much younger version or past version of me, I am the future self. I am that inner self for that person, that personality, that entity. So when I have any experience where I'm traveling through so-called time, when I run into these encounters, if I feel it's an earlier projection of myself or a younger version of myself, I give it information. I tell it things. I refer it to certain information in books that would have been beneficial to me at that time. So like if I ran into an 8-year-old me, I'd be like, hey man, don't forget the SETH material. Read that shit. Slap him upside the head. You know what I'm saying? I'm joking. But yeah, you refer certain information or you give yourself ideas, Ask questions. If it's a really young version of yourself, be gentle and be like, hey man, how's it going? What is reality? What do you think reality is? Give it things to think about. Give yourself things to think about. And you don't have to be so deep because it is a younger version of yourself, but you can just drop little hints. You can be like, hey man, this is all an illusion. And you do have the power to control your dreams and go to other realms. That alone will trigger a chain reaction. And when you arrive back in your moment point, which would be your so-called present, that younger version of you will go on living its own life in its own direction, but you may have altered it to a point where all the knowledge that it will gain from that information that you've passed on to it will be beneficial to you in your present moment point as of now. See what I'm saying? I hope I didn't lose y'all, but yeah, man, it's time to get deep with this shit, man. So, like I said, when you're laying on the bed, imagine yourself either at some distant point in the future or a distant point in the past, and you see that as a moment that's happening right now. Visualize it, feel it, see it. And I don't mean see it with the physical eyes, but you gotta see it with your inner eyes, your inner eyesight. And yeah, that's just one exercise I want to kick y'all off with, man. Now, yeah, when you start doing this, you're gonna start picking up information that it might seem clairvoyant. You might seem like you're tapping into the future, but don't buy too much into this stuff. Just play it by ear and by feeling. Don't, if you see yourself hitting the lotto and quitting your job and all that, don't go quitting your job now and blaming me for it. You know what I'm saying? But you play it by ear, man. Just want to drop this little note on you guys. And this is to give you motivation. When you're in your dream states, or your trance states, remember they're both the same. If you're doing your deep meditations and you're seeing things, you have to remember that this is all your power. You're creating all of this stuff, man. And a lot of people don't think about it. They're so quick to write this shit off and be like, oh man, it's just a dream. Oh, it's just a dream. But yo, check this out. Science downplays our power because they'd be like, oh, it's just your brain manufacturing all these things. When the other night, man, I'll tell you something funny. I'm in this dream world, conscious, and I guess they're making a new Godzilla movie or something. I saw some preview, and there was this version of Godzilla was in this movie. It was really big. It was this huge thing, like the size of a skyscraper. And I was just chilling. I was observing it. Because sometimes when I hanging out in the dreaming and in the realms, I don't take action sometimes. I just sit back and let shit play out. Because that's just as interesting and educational. Because you sit back and you just take it all in. You don't have to always be a player in these environments. A lot of times it is best to just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride to see what's going on and see what naturally takes place. Because you'd be like, fuck, man, this is all happening. Even like right now I'm in this class and I'm talking to all of you right now. My dreaming and your dreaming as well is happening right now. This shit happening right now in your other realms. It's taking place as we are having this conversation. So, yeah, I was sitting back looking at this giant fake Godzilla. And I mean, this was a serious world, man. Like this shit, the city was destroyed. It was buildings and all this shit happening, and I'm just chilling. And I thought, I was observing the Godzilla, and I was like, well, it looks like Godzilla. It looks like kind of no frills, phony ass Godzilla. And the moment I said that, I heard the traditional Godzilla sound that he's famous for from the distance. And when I looked, this motherfucker came out the ocean and rose up, and it was 10 times bigger than the one that was in front of me. And I was just chilling, man. I was like, hell, that's what I'm talking about. And I realized at that moment, when I wasn't satisfied with this fake no frills ass Godzilla, I instantly manifested one more to my liking. And that is the moment of power. Everybody talking about magic and magic spells and all this shit. Fuck all that, man. The real magic, the real power, the real spells, the real spell work, real magic is when you go into the other realms and you see the power of your thought. That's magic. And this thing rose up out the ocean, man, and it was destroying buildings, and people were running around screaming, helicopters, all the shit you would see in a movie. But the point is, I was fully consciously aware that this is all my manifestation. I've literally created an entire world, a city, where you have real Godzilla, fake ass Godzilla on the other side, destroying buildings and duking it out. And I'm just right in the middle, chilling, relaxing, looking at all of it. So the point of me telling you all this is, when you have these dreams, you have to, or your meditations, and you see things, just remember, even if you're not conscious, and I know a lot of people say, oh, I can't get to the point you're at, you seem like you're so advanced. No, it's not that. You still, even if you can't control things yet, even if sometimes you slip back into unconsciousness, just remember when you wake up in the morning, this was all your power. You've manifested an entire reality, a world of living conscious beings, entities, monsters, whatever. But it's all your power, and you created it. So I got to get going now, man. So I got to get this class rolling. But do this video out. You know what you got to do. So get out there and fucking do it and start practicing, man. Start doing your work. Don't you want to get to that dark artist level? Don't you want to become your own dream art scientist? Don't you want to become your own mental physicist? Don't you want to become your own complete physician? Then get out there and fucking do it and stop bullshitting around looking at these fake psychics and stuff on TV, man. Yeah, keeping it real over here in Japan. Yeah, so that's it for now. Short video. Do that exercise I told you all about. Remember that your dreaming worlds are your power. And, yeah. Like I said, as far as I'm on some other shit. I'm on a whole nother level over here. I am at that phase where, like I said in the other videos, creating things, manifesting worlds, learning my responsibility, that basically I'm getting prepared for the next life, that when I leave this one, and the responsibility that's going to come with all of that, which is that the powers that I obtain once I leave physical reality are not meant for personal vendettas, getting revenge. They're basically going to be meant to use with others like myself to create worlds that we don't want to say control, but worlds that we can manifest to our liking, that we're satisfied with, and then let them go on their own path of consciousness. But shit's getting real, man. And you all have that same ability. This is all the choice. This is all the choice. No one's going to give you anything. You don't have to do any initiation rites. You don't have to do any magic spells. This is just simply a choice that I have made, that this is not my last time here. And once you start making a decision, when you say, fuck this, I'm not coming back to this reality, and I want to be conscious in the dream state, and I'm going to remember my fucking dreams, and no one's going to stop me. You got to get pissed off and angry. You can't be on this like, okay, I'm just an angelic being, multidimensional. I mean, if you want to do that, that's cool. But for me, what works best for me is it's going to be getting pissed off and angry. Not in a negative way, but aggression is not bad. A lot of people see aggression as something bad. For me, I use aggression to motivate myself. Because when I come off too weak and soft, it's like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to sleep tonight. I'm going to cross over. That doesn't work for me. I got to get pissed off and angry. Like, fuck this. I'm crossing over, man. I'm tired of waking up, not knowing anything, like a damn idiot, and remember just tiny glimpses of bullshit dreams. I'm crossing over tonight. And when you say that, it's going to happen. Now that was me. That's not me now. Now I'm a lot much more powerful, and I just, snap my fingers and go to where I want. But if you're in that level now where I used to be at, get angry, get pissed off. But not at anyone. Get pissed off at yourself to motivate yourself to get it moving. And I gotta go. I keep saying I gotta go. I gotta go now for intro. All right. I love all of y'all. Peace, love, and harmony as always. Hit back at me if you want to make comments on the YouTube and shit like that. But yeah, see y'all later.